On this episode of Cinema Disaster, we're going to be talking about the black sheep of the Halloween series, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This film came out in 1982, and it was written and directed by Tommy Wallace, who also did the film Fright Night 2 and the It miniseries from 1990. It was produced by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. It's the first. It's the only film of the Halloween series that doesn't include Michael Myers. Instead, it deals more with the occult and witchcraft, Celtic mythology, and I would say I think there's an underlying statement about commercialism, consumerism. It's a horror film, but it's also like a mystery science fiction film. The idea came after Halloween 2, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill thought that it would be a good idea to branch out and turn Halloween into more of an anthology series. So each Halloween film would be its own story and have its own characters. The only thing they would all have in common is that they all take place on Halloween. So it would be more of a Twilight Zone style thing. And I really think that Halloween 3 does have that Twilight Zone feel to it. It starts off with a guy running at night down a barren road who's being chased by businessmen in suits. One of the businessmen being played by Dick Warlock, who was the actor who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2. He goes to a gas station for help, and he's in a frantic state. You know, he's scared. People are after him, and he's clutching this jack-o'-lantern mask. Well, they end up taking him to a hospital where he tells Dr. Dan Chalice, who's played by Tom Atkins, he says, "They're going to kill us all." That night, one of the guys in the suits shows up in the hospital room and kills the guy. And then he ends up going out to his car and he blows himself up. The next day, the daughter of the man that was killed, who's named Ellie, who's played by Stacey Nelkin, she shows up to identify her father's remains. Ellie and Dr. Chalice decide to investigate his murder, and it leads them to a small town named Santa Mira, California, which is the home of the Silver Shamrock Novelties Company, who's ran by Conal Cochran, who's played by Dan O'Hellery, who played in the movie The Last Starfighter. His company produces jack-o'-lantern masks, as well as witch masks and skeleton ones. The movie has a feeling of paranoia to it. It also has a feeling of, I think, dread and impending doom. The music was done by John Carpenter and Alan Hayworth. It has a very eerie quality to it. It's sort of reminiscent or reminds me of the music from Escape from New York. The cinematography in this film is absolutely, it's incredible, and the lighting is incredible, the camera work is incredible. But this is the movie that people hate on the absolute most, because it doesn't have Michael Myers. So basically what this tells me is people just want the same thing over and over and over again, which is a guy in a Halloween mask murdering people again and again and again. Same story. This movie didn't do well critically, which is why in part 4 they brought Michael Myers back. And, you know, they put the subtitle of the film was The Return of Michael Myers to make sure everybody knew that he was going to be in this film. To me, this film is absolutely underrated. I think if it was just called Season of the Witch, that people wouldn't be so judgmental of it. I think that they would really like it. It's left open-ended as to what's going to happen, but you know, if it ends how I think it ended, which I'm not going to ruin it for you, this movie would have the biggest death toll of any horror film ever made. It delves into like even taboo of like killing children, and there's actually a really great scene where this kid he's wearing this Halloween mask, and he's watching this Silver Shamrock commercial. And Silver Shamrock, like I said, is the company that produces these masks. And his whole head completely disintegrates. It melts, and all of these like snakes and locusts and bugs start crawling out of this mask. And the snakes come over and bite his dad on the leg, and I guess they're apparently venomous. He dies almost instantly, which is completely unrealistic because obviously you wouldn't die that fast from a snake bite. And I think his mom dies of like a heart attack or something. But he was like the guy in the movie. The kid's dad was the best seller of the Silver Shamrock Halloween masks of that year. So whatever reason they decided to kill him, I have no idea. But actually, I think it was a test to see if these masks would work. But once again, this movie is very creepy, has that element of paranoia. If you like the Twilight Zone, if you like a good mystery, if you like stuff about the occult, witchcraft, stuff that deals with taboo subjects, I would highly recommend this film. I mean, don't let the critics sway you away from seeing this film. It's absolutely incredible. And until next time, keep watching.
Please stop it. Stop it now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.